this computer. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Luisana. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, that would be great.
Sure. And first, I want to ask, can you guys see my screen that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So as Elena said, I'm Luisana. I am an outreach marketing specialist with the Small Business Administration Fresno District Office. I also serve as the Veteran Business Development Officer for our office. So I do assist all of our veterans. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get this presentation started, as I'm going to put out lots of useful information. I'm going to try to breeze through this. I don't want anybody to be bored by, in the military, we call it death by PowerPoint. So let's go ahead and get started. This is part of a 3-part series training that we offer at the SBA. And the first one we call is Ready. And it's part of a Ready, Set, Go workshop. So whenever Elena wants to invite us, we can go over the other 2 workshops for those that are interested in getting a little bit more advanced training as far as what it takes to start a business. But let me go ahead and click the next slide. So as I mentioned, the SBA is a federal agency, and we were created to aid, counsel, and assist all those that are interested in starting a small business. We do have a resource partner network. So these are resource partners that are federally funded to provide a free service to those that are in need of one-on-one assistance as far as starting a business. So we do have folks that can assist you on a more technical level when it comes to getting that business off the ground. So if you do want some information regarding our resource partners, please feel free to contact me. I will provide my email in the chat at the conclusion of this presentation. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this video because it's gonna take a lot of time. Oh, let me go ahead and go. But I will share it with Elena so she can give it to you guys and you guys can watch it on your own time. But as far as this 3-part series workshop, the one that we're doing today is called Ready. As far as SET, it's more about funding and finding funding opportunities, and then Go is the actual launch of a business. So well, what is a small business? And here's some statistics that I wanted to just share with you guys real quick. Nationally, we have approximately 31 million small businesses, and that makes up 99% of the U.S. employer firms. They create about 65% of the new private sector jobs. They do employ about 47% of private sector workforce, and they also include 98% of the firms exporting goods. So an interesting thing here is that over 75% of these small businesses have no employees. So they're ran by one person or the owner or a family. So I just thought that was very interesting. That's that a lot of folks probably go into starting a business because they want to work for themselves, right? So 10 common pitfalls to avoid when starting a business is obviously lack of planning. So it is going to take some planning on your behalf, depending on how big you're wanting your business to start off. Of course, some of the things that Elena was sharing, like embroidery, you know, you have a lot of these websites that you can go and sell your products if you're making stuff. So that's a little on the smaller scale, but it does still take planning. Now, avoid poor credit, and then seek help. So don't be that person that fails to seek help. So here at the Small Business Administration, we can give you a direct connection with someone that can help you. Some have lack of support, lack of industry experience, labor alignment with business goals, insufficient capital. Again, that can fall under poor credit also, because if you have poor credit, getting access to capital may be a challenge. Poor customer service. Obviously, nobody wants to go to a business where you have not been treated nicely. So it's always good to make sure that you keep your customers happy. Poor cash management. And also, Sorry about that. And marketing and technology challenges. Now, I know that sounds very intimidating as far as marketing, but it's really not a complicated process, and there is assistance with this. Now, 10 talents that drive entrepreneurs, and just kind of keep an eye out for the ones that may apply to you, but disciplined and hardworking, successful risk manager, leverages resources and technology. So when you're leveraging your resources and technology, it means that you're able to think outside the box as far as identifying what resources are around you, and take advantage of them and be able to utilize them to your advantage. Thinks globally but acts locally. Strong organization, execution, and delegation skills. So if you definitely have those good leadership skills, that's really going to come in handy when it comes to if you are going to hire employees or you're going to hire a manager for your business. Resilient and adaptable. And this is especially important. I mean, coming out of COVID, we had a lot of small businesses that were significantly affected by the closures. So being able to be resilient and adaptable is definitely something you're going to need when being a business owner. Passionate leadership and be able to motivate others. When your employees are happy, they're more productive. So it's very important to have those good leadership skills and motivate those employees. You understand the market, the customers, and employee needs. Ability to build a support network of partners and mentors, again, and that's something that the SBA can help with. And then evaluation and reassessment skills. So just, did you have a question, Elena?
Yes, I think Daniela raised her hand. And
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not able to see because I'm sharing my screen. Go ahead.
So I had a question. What is successful risk manage? What is a successful risk manager? Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that because anytime you're starting a business, you're assuming a risk, right? And so
Yes.
with this risk that you're taking, you want to be able to be successful at applying all of your, again, resources, skills that you have to be able to prepare yourself appropriately to start off on a business journey. So again, and I apologize, I am working from home. So if you hear my little ones in the background, let me go ahead and get rid of them real quick. Give me just a second. Okay, sorry about that. Did that answer your question, Danielle? But we are going to talk a little bit more about risk and what it implies as far as starting a business. But
Yeah.
Let me know if I didn't answer your question, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide.
Thank you.
So are you ready to be an entrepreneur? So what do you want from this business is a big question. What steps have you taken to be an entrepreneur? And are you willing to invest? Again, that's part of the risk, right? Am I willing to risk my money and time? And is this a hobby? And do I have an exit strategy? So say, for instance, the business doesn't go as planned. Do you have an exit strategy? So where you're not suffering the significant, especially financial loss, right? Because that's really where it really hurts folks. And that's probably the scariest part about starting a business. It's like, am I going to be able to make money? Is it going to make a profit? Because it's a risk overall. Let's see. So here's 10 steps to starting a small business. And this is where hopefully it's going to help you guys kind of get an idea of what it's going to take to get things started off the ground. So define your product or service. So really know what you're trying to provide to your customer base, right? Understanding your competitive advantages and disadvantages. Create your marketing strategy. Calculate your startup costs. Choose your business legal structure. And we're going to go into these. Properly set up a business entity. Prepare yourself financially. Develop your strategic plan. and sustain your business and seek professional financial assistance. Again, the SBA can help with all of these. But let me get more in depth into these 10 steps to starting a business. So defining your product or service. So the best business idea comes from identifying a need or solving a problem for a customer. You really, it's really part of, they call it your business proposition, right? How is this solving someone's pain, or how is it helping someone? So you need to ask yourself, what is it that you want to sell? What will the product or service do? What problem does this product or service solve? How is it different from what currently exists? And who will buy it? So that's where it comes to understanding your market, right? And how will my customers know I sell it? And then how much will they pay for it? Are they, or are they willing to pay? And this is especially if you are providing a product that other folks provide, and that's part of your competitive strategy. And so if you are gonna have something that's similar to what someone else is offering, how is yours better? Now, competitive pricing, free shipping, you know, things that you can offer that perhaps other folks don't, that may be able to make it easier for you to compete. Takeaway is the best business ideas identify and solve a problem for a customer. Now, from anyone that's joining us here, what kind of things do you feel that may solve a problem for a customer? That a product or service that you think would solve a pain or relieve a pain? Anybody? And then Elena, if somebody has their hand up, just let me know, because I can't see.
Most definitely. Yeah, and if you have, you can also write it in the chat and then I'll read that.
Hi, my name's Amber Wills.
Hi, Amber.
Hi. So I sell clothing, and so my answer to your question would be basically the clothing that I do sell, basically the product would make them feel better. And the difference between me and everyone else's, you know, that everyone else that sells clothes, like let's just say Walmart or any other industry that sells clothing, I just feel like my quality is better, and I just feel like my products are the best, and that's really all I can say.
And that's all about part of your marketing, right?
Right.
And you know, when you're competing with large clothing stores like Walmart, you can easily, it comes down to your customer service experience, right? So say something doesn't fit someone, how is that return policy? How well do you handle those returns or exchanges? So it's really about the customer experience now, right? It comes down to that.
Right.
But yeah, and that's good. Be confident about the product and service that you provide, and go with it. Any other questions?
Thank
I
you.
do have a question. Is there like a standard percentage markup that each product should be at?
Now that's something that you're going to want to discuss with a mentor or a counselor that you'll be working with. You'll definitely going to want to compare with your competitors as far as, in this, it gets more complicated as far as competitors, right? Because you want to understand your industry. Now, for instance, say I'll use the example that Amber had, right? Clothing. Now, how many people out there sell clothing, right? And what are their pricing, and how are they marketing? Are they marketing on social media or whatnot? But it really comes down to understanding the industry that you and your competitors that you're competing against, to understand what your price range would be. And really understanding the customer base. So again, the market research comes into play, because if you want to understand, are my customers able to pay, right? What target population are you targeting? It's kind of when we went into the recession, right? And during the dust bowl, and all these farmers weren't able to pay the banks back all the loans that they were getting for their farming equipment. So what happened? The banks collapsed, and because they weren't getting any funds back in return from these loans that they were giving out. So it's really all about understanding that customer base. Are they able to pay? It's not, and are they willing to pay? So I guess those are the two key things, right? Able and willing to pay for the product that you're offering. So understanding that customer base.
No, I have a question. This is Danielle.
Uh-huh.
What if it's not a product that you want to offer, but a service? Like, say you see a need where a certain service is exuberantly priced, and then you want to find a way to provide it at a more affordable and reasonable rate. Does the SBA help with understanding that process of
Absolutely.
services versus goods?
Absolutely. And you know what? We have, and I'll go over our resource partners, but these folks that do provide these services to assist you guys are really knowledgeable in the industry and anything that it takes to start a business. So there is help, and we can definitely get you connected with someone that can help you figure all that out.
Okay. Is there a cost for those services?
Our resource partners are free. Now, there are some more advanced training that they do provide that sometimes there's a small fee to pay if you're going to attend that training. But for the most part, the one-on-one, that's all free.
Okay. And then do you know, are there any grants available through the SBA for starting a business?
We'll get to those questions at the end. Okay. So let me continue with the presentation, and then I'll talk about what's available out there. Okay.
Oh, we have one question on chat. It says, I want to start a business helping other businesses with marketing / SEO. A lot of business owners might not be knowledgeable in the marketing / SEO and might want to hire out. I'm looking at that as a business. Is that visible, or should business owners just do it for themselves, like you are talking about now? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so there are marketing services. So there are agencies or businesses that do help with marketing. Now, again, that all comes down to competing against other agencies out there that help with the same thing that you do. So there's always that those barriers to entry, right? When you're going into an industry, you're competing with other folks that have already been in the industry. So you really want to do your research as far as who you're competing against. But yes, that's definitely something that that small businesses look for, right? They need help because they don't know, or this is new to them. They're not familiarized with what it takes to start a business. So the business acumen isn't there for some folks, right? That's part of the risk also, if you don't know, never had a business. But yes, definitely a good service to provide. Let me go ahead and go on to the next slide. And then let me know if there's any other additional questions in the chat. But understanding your competitive advantage. So again, when you better understand the better understanding of your business, offering the supply and market demand, you're better able to identify the gaps and unfilled needs. So in order for you to understand this business competitive advantage, you need to ask yourself, who is already providing your product or service? As I was mentioning, how much do they charge? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Who are their customers? And what types of customers are they targeting? So we have two types of competitors, direct and indirect. So your direct competitors are companies that are selling similar product or service to your similar target consumer. And then indirect competitors are those that are selling a different product, but to a similar target consumer, if that makes any sense. And my husband is here to the rescue, so we won't have any more interruptions with my little ones. Give me just a second as I close my door. Okay, I apologize. I am back. Okay, so let me go ahead and go to the next slide here. So to decide your market strategy, so your business must generate enough revenue or income to exceed the expenses to net a profit. So be sure that your market strategy is going to answer the following questions that are on here. So what is your target market? So again, remember, who are you trying to sell to? What are the unfulfilled needs of your target market? How will customers find out about your business? How will you reach potential customers? And then also, what sets your business apart from competitors? So once you've defined these questions, you can create a marketing plan that will include your expected costs and how you intend to roll out that plan. And again, we have folks that can help you with this. So you don't have to go on this alone. So calculate your startup costs. Now, obviously, this is probably the more intimidating part of starting a business is how much is it going to cost, right? Nobody has money just laying around their bank account to start a business. So before you launch a new venture, you should take the time to really estimate the total amount that it's going to take to fund what everything you will need to start your business. So there's the one-time startup cost, and then there's going to be also your reoccurring monthly costs. So you should really consider how much cash on hand you will need to carry out to carry you to earning a revenue. So some of your startup costs, expenses, incurred process of creating a new business, and let me see if are going to be these. So calculating your startup costs is how much money you will need, and initial costs may include your business bank account. So you're going to need to have some money in your business bank account, any rent or lease deposits, improvements or remodeling, web design or brand design, legal and professional fees, starting inventory, any furniture, equipment, licenses and permits, and software. Now, some of your reoccurring costs are going to be obviously your telephone, utilities, internet data, rent, lease payments, advertising and marketing, social media, salaries, payroll taxes, supplies, bookkeeping, insurance, and any software subscription services that you may need for your business. So that's just some of the costs to consider. We do have an SBA startup calculator tool. And let me see if I can click on this and copy it real quick. It's not letting me copy it, but I will get this link to Elena so she can share with you guys. And you guys can have this worksheet to be able to kind of start calculating what your startup costs are going to be. Let's see here. Oh, next slide. So choosing your business legal structure, again, you can have help with this with our resource partners. So there's different business entities that you can do. So sole proprietorship is one of them, general or limited partnership. So a corporation, you can either be a S Corp or a C Corp, and then an LLC, which is a limited liability company. So again, reach out to these counselors or mentors that can help you determine what type of business entity would best fit your business. And again, remember that 75% don't have employees, that's probably because they're sole proprietors. So that may be our more common business entity that folks have. So just something to consider, understanding some of the legal business structures. Now, some of the things you're also going to need when it comes to your legal business structure requirements is going to be registrations. So there's going to be state, federal, and local registrations. So at the state level, you're going to have to reserve or file a trade name, form and register an entity, file articles of organization or articles of incorporation. And these are going to be needed to start your business account. So anytime a bank opens a business account, they need articles of organization or articles of incorporation. So registration for sales tax license, set up state wage withholdings, establish unemployment insurance accounts. At the federal level, you're going to need to secure your federal employer identification number, and you can obtain it online if you just go to irs.gov. And then you're going to want to complete your form SS4 and submit via fax or by mail. Again, our resource partners can help with all of this. Any local registrations is reserve or file a trade name. And that's when I mean local registrations, is county or city. It really just depends whether you're within city limits or you're outside of city limits, who you would be registering any local registrations. And then applying for any permits and licenses will also be done at the local level. Again, some other things to consider. The IRS does offer easy to understand relevant training videos on the following topics. So just kind of glance at this real quick before I move on to the next slide. Alrighty, and now prepare yourself financially. So cash flow. It may be tight during the early stages of your business. Don't be discouraged. You know, sometimes things start off slow, and you won't really start seeing maybe some profits at the very, very beginning. Now, if this persists, then you should seek some assistance and help to see what you're doing, what you could do to change that. But for the most part, you know, don't be discouraged. In the early stages of your business, things are going to be a little slow. So limit any new debt or monthly payments, save money when you can, get your personal finances in order. So reduce any daily personal expenses, track your expenses, a budget by the month, and take into account your personal budget and calculate how much you need to survive at least the first 6 months of your business. So for your cash flow, the total amount of money being transferred into and out of your business. So that's what cash flow is. Any questions so far?
I see a lot of like people starting up their businesses, and they do, I forgot the website that they gotta run their name through to make sure no one else has that name. And mostly it's like the LLC that they go with. Do you know why they go with the LLC over everything else?
Well, that's really up to the person that's starting the business. It really, again, some folks change their entity. So do know that if you do start off as a sole proprietor or an S corp or whatnot, you can always change your business entity. You don't have to stick to the LLC. Or if you're not sure if you should start off as an LLC and you do want to change to an LLC later on down the road. But that's more of a question for our technical counselors to answer. I'm only here to provide general information because it really depends on what you're trying to do. Any other questions? Okay, so review the 5 C's of credit. So the 5 C's of credit. So anytime you're trying to apply for a loan, be sure that your loan application addresses each of the points in detail. And so again, here it says, don't forget to reach out to your local financial professionals for help. Again, the SBA has these financial professionals that can assist you. So the 5 C's are character, so the general trustworthiness of a borrower; capacity, so the ability of a borrower to repay a loan; capital is the money invested by the business owner or management team; conditions, the growing or faltering of a business; industry trends and how they impact loan repayment. Again, COVID was one of these, right? Conditions. Collateral, the assets used to secure a guarantee or guarantee a loan. So free annual credit report websites, I didn't include on there, but I can provide those. The major one that the SBA uses is Experian. So if you guys just go to Experian.com, you're able to get access to free credit monitoring that way. So develop your strategic plan. A strategic plan is going to be a document that's going to describe how your new business is going to achieve its goals. So again, free counseling is available to help with this. Our resource partners are really awesome at helping guide our small business owners and getting these strategic plans developed. If you intend to apply for a loan to start your business, the lender is going to require you to have a written business plan. So loan or no loan, you should have some form of strategic plan, right? I know some collegiate institutions offer classes to help write business plans, but we at the SBA also provide assistance through our resource partners. So we can, again, get you connected with that counselor, mentor that can help you put together your business plan, can provide you with a business plan template, what to include. So remember that your plan doesn't need to be a 30-page document. So don't be intimidated. Oh my goodness, a business plan. Just make sure you include the key elements of a strategic plan listed above. So the things that that I had mentioned that you need, please make sure to take those into consideration when putting together your business plan. So some key takeaways that you should include in your strategic plan are going to be the description of the product or service, your target market, your marketing strategy, some financial information, and business operations and business roles. Now, how to sustain your small business, right? Now, this is where it will help you successfully use your risk management, right? And apply those here to be able to sustain your business. So there are several key items that we're going to make sure that you want to make sure that your business sustains over time. So that's going to be use effective marketing, keeping loyal customers, identifying new or potential customers, managing your business finances, maintain or improve efficiency of your business, stay involved in local community. And that's very important, right? Because when they see that a small business is a part of the community, folks tend to be more supportive of the small business. And also, when you're using effective marketing, part of your marketing is going to, and your market research is going to be keeping those loyal customers, right? And so how do you do that? Customer surveys. How was your visit today? How was the service? What do you feel we can provide that we don't right now? You know, getting feedback from those employees is very, very important, because ultimately, not employees, I'm sorry, customers, because ultimately they're the ones that you want to keep, right? And that'll help you, perhaps get more of a loyal customer base. So last one is seek professional financial assistance. So again, remember the SBA district office, which is our Fresno district office, can help with this. You can also get an accountant or bookkeeper. Folks that tend to have more established small business and have a little bit more revenue coming in are the ones that can afford these accountants and bookkeepers, a lawyer, bankers and lenders. So network, right? Get to know your lending institute, your business banking institution that you're going through. Build relationships that way. There's city, county, and state economic development resources. So not just the SBA has resources, but there's also resources through local city, county, or state. Expert advice. Now, these are our resource partners that I keep mentioning. The first one is the Small Business Development Center. Now, our Fresno district office services 15 counties in Central California. So as you can imagine, we don't expect folks from Kern County or from Tuolumne County to come all the way to Fresno to access our services, right? So we have these resource partners scattered throughout these 15 counties so that folks have better access to these resources. And the Small Business Development Center is probably our resource partner that is more widely spread. This is the resource partner that I do recommend for folks that already have a business and are looking to grow or expand, or if you're recovering from a disaster. We have our women's business centers that help our small women business owners. They're really there to help level the playing field for our women business owners so that they can successfully grow in an industry. Now we have our SCORE business mentors who I recommend more for folks that are doing a startup. And so these business mentors can help you through that process. And then again, we have our veteran business outreach centers. And so I don't know why it says opportunity on there, but it's Veteran Business Outreach Center. We call them our VBOX, and they are really there to help our veteran businesses access any veteran programs that are out there for our veterans that want to start a small business. So that's some of our resource partners. Now,
Sorry.
somebody had a question?
Yeah, this is Danielle. What does the acronym SCORE stand for?
There really doesn't tell us what it stands for. It's just, they just call them SCORE business mentors. I really haven't been I didn't even know if it was an acronym. It is all capitalized, but I really don't know what it stands for. I don't think it does stand for anything. It's just the name of the organization, SCORE Business Mentors. Any other questions? Okay, so some rural small businesses, and this is some financial assistance for our rural entrepreneurs, which really applies to us here in the Central Valley, right? A lot of our communities are considered rural communities. And so any rural small businesses that experience unique challenges, and some of these challenges include access to capital, a local customer base, proximity to customer and suppliers, and then high-speed internet availability. I know with this infrastructure bill, that's supposed to be helping, especially with the internet access in rural communities. But if you do have any questions regarding rural entrepreneurship, we do have what are called historically underutilized business zones, and folks and businesses can register to have that certificate, which makes you eligible for certain programs, especially when it comes to funding. So just really identify whether you fall under the rural community. And there's also programs that you can take advantage of through the USDA. The US Department of Agriculture has a lot of programs for our rural communities, that are rural small businesses that are trying to either start, grow, or expand their business. Let's see here.
I think we had a question in the chat. It says,
Okay.
is this regarding you sending out the SB a slideshow?
Oh, are they wanting the PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah, I was wondering because I was just seeing people because they're saying they're sending stuff back and forth, but I was just wondering if it requires this whole slideshow. That's what my question was.
Say that again. You cut off a little bit.
I was just wondering if you'd be able to send the SBA slideshow, basically.
So unfortunately, our slideshows are for internal use only. We're not able
Okay.
to distribute them, but Elena did record this training. So you can always go back and take a look at the slides that way. And
Bust out the good old paper and pen then, right?
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Or I mean, I'm not gonna say you can't do this, but screenshot.
All righty,
Yeah.
thank you.
Uh-huh. Let's see. I don't have any panel speakers, so I think this concludes the presentation that I was going to provide. So let me go ahead and end the slideshow and stop sharing my screen. How do is it under pause share? Okay, there we go. Stop share. There we go. I know I breezed through that. I cut off a little bit of slides. We only had an hour. I really wish I can like really dig deep into this and provide more detailed examples, but it was just kind of a breeze through what it really takes to start a business. But if you guys have any questions, now I know someone had asked about funding and grants. Currently through the SBA, there are no grants available for folks that are trying to start a business, but our resource partners do know of programs or grants available through local or state entities. So that doesn't mean that just because the SBA doesn't have grants at the moment, doesn't mean that they're not out there. So it's very important to reach out to these resource partners because they're better versed in what grants are available. Now, as far as funding goes, the SBA does provide SBA loans. So it really depends on what you're needing it for. We have what is called a 7A loan that's used for equipment. And we have a 504 loan that's used for real estate and property. We also have microloans. So these are loans that you get through an SBA approved lender. And they are the ones it's really just an SBA backed loan. So, and these loans are available for those folks that otherwise would not be approved for a small business loan on their own. And so the SBA does come in and provide further assistance as far as trying to get you that loan approved because it would be considered an SBA backed loan. Any questions?
You mentioned mentors. Like, does the mentors help with like researching companies and also with like a patent if they have like an invention?
Yes, so we do have the mentors can help with that. So remember, it's if you are wanting to provide a product that is similar to another one, remember, especially with, you say patents, right? Remember that it needs to be different enough to where you're not copying someone's patented product, if that makes any sense. So definitely reach out to those mentors because they are the ones to be able to provide that further technical assistance with that.
This is Danielle. I have another question.
Okay.
So say I'm not 100% set on exactly what service I want to provide. Is there an availability of a mentor to like help narrow down that decision?
Yes. So, and again, Danielle, I would recommend the Women's Business Center for you. They can help you narrow down, kind of go over what your idea is, analyze, again, that target group that you're trying to sell your product or service to. But yes, if you're kind of in between things, you definitely should reach out to one of our counselors so that they can help you narrow down your ideas.
Okay, and then how would we get in contact with them?
Okay, that's a good question. So I can put the Women's Business Center phone number actually in the chat. Let me find the chat. I'm going to put my email in here. Okay, there, that's my email. And then for the Women's Business Center, Okay.
For general purposes, just in case, you know, that I see a lot of mails here, is there like a link on the SBA's website to all the different mentors that are available?
Yeah, so actually, that's a good question. So let me go to our SBA website. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Give me just a second. Okay. If you just Google Fresno SBA, it'll take you to our Fresno district office website. On here, we do have our upcoming events. And then if you're wanting to get connected with one of our resource partners, you're going to go under local assistance. And then you're going to put in your zip code. So what's the zip code where you're at right now? What's the zip code in
93230.
9 what? Say that again.
230.
93230. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and select Small Business Development Center. And it's going to say, it's going to show you where all of the small business development centers are. And I think we have a more updated contact list as far as our resource partners, but here's where you would find SCORE Business Mentors, Veteran Business Outreach Center, Women's Business Center. So right here, this is the Women's Business Center, the number that I provided you in the chat. It does take you to their website, and it's the Kern Women's Business Center. And on here, you can meet, if you go under the Kern one, you can meet their staff. So meet staff and consultants, their success stories, upcoming workshops. Let's click on that. Women's Business Summit. So this one was actually yesterday, and the day before that, they had the vice president and our SBA administrator. There's also other events coming up. What's this one? It's a small business workshop, and it tells you what they're going to be covering, and that's April 12th. So if you go to these resource partner websites, they will definitely be able to provide us training schedule. So if there's anything that stands out to you, you can always register for those events. If you need help, contact me and I can get a hold of the resource partner. So make sure that we can get you registered for these classes or get you connected with them. Any other questions? Elena, is there anything in the chat?
No, I would say there's nothing in the chat either.
Okay.
So just for the purposes of stopping the recording, thank you
Okay.
so much, Luisana, for joining us.
And I'm sorry my little ones interrupted the training here. I was just working from home can be a challenge sometimes. 2-year-olds, they don't care if you're in a meeting.
No. So and
Excuse me,
her
I have
contact
a
information
quick
is
question.
in the chat. But
Oh,
let me
someone has a quick question. What's the question?
Yes, I was wondering, where can I access the recording of this Zoom meeting so I can refer to it in the future?
Oh, I think that's a question for you, Elena.